Hey there, I'm going to real quickly show you how to work with green screen here in Premiere Pro. As you can see on the screen here, we have our green screen image. Notice in the corners it's a bit dark. That's something to keep in mind. When working with green screen, you want to light it as evenly as possible. This will help you out when doing the edit. Also try to keep your subject matter as far away from the green screen as possible. What happens is the light bounces off the green screen onto the person and you'll get a little kind of green around the edges of the individual. Now, having said that, let's go ahead and work some magic. In your effects panel, just do a quick search for Alt key and then drag that onto your timeline. Now within your effects panel, and you probably have yours laid out a little bit differently than mine. I've made some changes to it, but effects is still going to work the same. Within the effects, the first thing you want to do is select key color. So scroll down here to where we see our alter keying and we see key color. Hit the dropper and then go over to your green screen and click on it. And what you want is what we had have happen here is everything kind of turns black. You can click on it again if you need to in a different area. Notice what happened when I clicked into that corner. It keyed out where the screen was a little bit darker, but not quite as well here where it was lighter. So try to click on the section of the screen to get the most out of it, but it's okay because we can play with it a bit more as well. Now under output, you can switch from composite to alpha channel. And you can see what it did is it made me all white, and it gives us a better idea of what's being keyed out on that screen versus what's not being keyed out. The idea is we want to have everything we don't want in solid black. So we've got a lot of white here that's still showing. First one, go to matte generation and start with your highlights and shadows. All I do is I'm mousing over and I'm clicking with the left click on the mouse, and I'm either pulling to the right or to the left. The trick often with working with green screen is there's no magic number that you can punch in here. You just kind of got to play with it a little bit. So you can see with my highlights when I pull to the right, to the left. So nothing with the highlights. The next one I'm going to work with is going to be my shadows, and I'm going to do the same thing. So let's pull that down to the left as much as we can. I don't want to go too far. And even though we're still seeing a little bit of white in the corner, I'm going to leave that on because if you look around my hairline, we're going to start losing hair in it. So I'm just going to drop that a little bit. Before we move on, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add the background image that I want. And this will help when working around the edges of the individual on the screen. So here's the image I want. And what I did, if you saw me there, is I just drug the video up to the next highest timeline, pull the background image down here that I want, and I'm going to extend it. So what I want to do now is also reverse that channel. So I'm going to switch back over to composite. Now I can see there's the image that I want and me in front of it. And let's expand that just a little bit so it covers the whole back of the screen. There we go. So what you can see here is around the hairline we've got a little bit of a problem, and we can see down here at the corner. And that's why I like sometimes to actually put that image back there. It just helps make it a bit more clear. Next, I'm going to jump over to my matte suppression, and I'm going to increase the contrast a little bit. And now what I'm watching for is you can see in the corner where it's visible versus where it's not, but I also want to balance that out with the hairline as well. I don't want to lose too much hair in there, so I'm going to drag this kind of nice and high, it looks like. And I'm going to leave my soften and choke where they are. Now I'm going to jump down to my spill suppression, and I'm going to desaturate it just a little bit. Not a lot, maybe just even 22 is barely even noticeable. All right, let's move it ahead a little bit. What I want to do is be able to really get a good look at my hairline there, which actually doesn't look too bad at the moment. Okay, I'm going to skip range. I'm going to go to spill actually, and I'm going to play with my spill and my luma just a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So you can see what's happening was we're doing little tweaks to just clean it up on those edge points where that light isn't perfectly even, and same thing where we're getting a little bit of the reflection coming off the green screen onto the person. And that's kind of why I did this one like this, because I wanted you to see how important it is to light as evenly as possible and keep your subject as far away from possible. Now we can keep playing with it, but it looks pretty good where it is, and I'm pretty happy with it. But once again, with those matte generation and matte cleanup, spill suppression, you just kind of got to play with it. And I just start at the top and work your way down each one, dragging left and right and watching for improvements and where you lose those improvements and get it exactly where you want it. And when you get done, you can actually go back and start over and clean it up just a little bit more if that's what's needed. Hope you found that useful. As always, enjoy, share, like, thumbs up, leave comments, blah, 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 and have a nice day.